All right, our second question is p squared plus p squared plus 2p minus 11 equals -6. Okay, so again, notice that we don't have a 0 here, so we need to create that. We'll do that by getting our 6 to the other side, our -6 to the other side, so I will add 6 to both sides. At the same time, so you're going to add this, and at the same time, I'm going to change my variable to x. So 1x squared plus 2x minus 5 equals 0. Now, go ahead and circle your coefficients in front of each variable just to have it stand out for you. So you have your a is 1, your b is the plus 2, and your c is that minus 5. So that's c. And then I always like to write the quadratic formula. It helps me to see it. -b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And now we start to plug in. So if nothing else, you should be able to plug in that first step. You have your b, which is 2, so -2, plus or minus the square root of b squared, so 2 squared minus 4 times 1 times -5, all over 2 times 1. Okay, so now we're going to say this is like -2 plus or minus the square root of 4 plus 20 all over 2. And when you do that, you're going to end up with -2 plus or minus the square root of 24 over 2. Now you might have gotten this far and you might have keyed this answer in and you probably got an incorrect answer. And that is because you forgot this topic of simplifying square roots. We did this topic earlier this year, so we're applying what we used to know. And so I'm going to do this in red off to the side. So I'm just going to show it right here. Square root of 24 is the same thing as saying 6 times 4. Remember, we're trying to get a perfect square. So our factors of 24 are 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, and 4 and 6. None of them have a perfect square except for the 4 and 6. So 4 and 6, this would turn into 2 roots of 6 because this is the same thing as radical 6 times radical 4, which I'll just erase and show. And we know the square root of 4 is 2, and then we don't have 6 as is not a perfect square, so we'll leave it as 2 roots of 6. So I'll replace this -2 plus or minus radical 24 with -2 plus or minus 2 roots of 6 over 2. Now if you got that far, kudos to you. That's even closer to correct. But now you should recognize, again, we're applying our knowledge from old things. -2 is divided by 2, and 2 roots of 6 is divided by 2. So -2 divided by 2 is -1, and then plus or minus 2 divided by 2 cancels out, and you have radical 6. So your actual answer is -1 plus or minus the square root of 6, and you could also spec it out and say that's really -1 plus radical 6 or -1 minus radical 6. But if you're doing this in Delta Math, you're good at stopping there. So those are 2 examples that I hope will help you make some sense of all of this.